There comes a moment in life when everything you have endured, every silent tear you wiped away, every night you stayed strong when no one noticed, begins to make sense. This message has reached you not by chance, not by coincidence, but because your journey has reached a turning point. You may not have felt ready, you may not have felt worthy, yet heaven has been watching your persistence closely. Even when you doubted yourself, even when you felt unseen, your steps forward were being counted. And now, this moment stands before you quietly, asking you to pause, breathe, and listen. You were never meant to fight endlessly without rest. You were never meant to carry burdens forever without relief. The crown spoken of here is not about pride or superiority, but about honor earned through patience, growth, and resilience. It is the recognition of how far you have come without giving up on your values. Many people walk away when life becomes heavy, but you stayed. You kept showing up. You kept choosing integrity over shortcuts, faith over fear, and hope over bitterness. That is why this moment matters. Step forward does not mean rushing. It does not mean forcing outcomes or proving anything to anyone. It means allowing yourself to believe that the season of preparation is ending. It means trusting that what you have been learning quietly is about to serve you openly. You may still feel unsure, and that is okay. Growth often feels uncomfortable just before clarity arrives. The crown prepared for you is symbolic of responsibility, wisdom, and inner authority, not something taken from others, but something placed gently upon you. There were times when you felt delayed, when progress seemed invisible, when you questioned why others moved ahead faster while you were asked to wait. What you did not see was how those pauses were shaping your character. While others rushed, you were being refined. While others celebrated early, you were being strengthened. The moment you are entering now requires stability, not speed, and depth, not noise. That is why your path looked different. This moment is here now because you are ready to carry what comes next without losing yourself. You are ready to receive without fear of responsibility. You are ready to lead without forgetting humility. The crown is not placed on those who seek attention, but on those who learn to stand steady when no one was clapping. It rests on those who chose healing over revenge, understanding over anger, and patience over impulse. As you listen, notice what stirs inside you. There may be a quiet recognition, a calm knowing, or even emotional release. That is not weakness. That is alignment. You are stepping into a version of yourself that no longer needs external validation to move forward. Your confidence will come from clarity, not comparison. Your strength will come from peace, not pressure. Do not rush past this message. Sit with it. Let it settle. Let it remind you that your story is not behind you, it is unfolding. The crown prepared for you represents completion of a cycle and the beginning of a new responsibility. Not heavier, but more meaningful. Not louder, but more impactful. You are not being asked to change who you are. You are being invited to become more fully yourself. Everything you needed to learn to stand here, you have already learned. Everything you needed to endure, you have already endured. Now, the invitation is simple. Step forward with awareness. Receive with gratitude. Walk ahead with calm confidence. This moment did not arrive early. It did not arrive late. It arrived exactly when you were ready. What you are feeling right now is not confusion, and it is not fear. It is the quiet shift that happens when a person begins to realize that their old way of surviving is no longer needed. You have spent so much of your life being strong in silence, holding yourself together when everything felt uncertain, that peace may now feel unfamiliar. But peace is not emptiness. Peace is space. Space to breathe, to understand, and to finally receive what you were never meant to chase. For a long time, you believed that effort alone would move everything forward. You believed that if you tried harder, waited longer, or endured more, things would eventually align. And while endurance shaped you, it was never meant to define you forever. The season you are stepping into is not about proving your worth. It is about recognizing that your worth was never in question. The crown prepared for you was not created after your success. It existed long before you doubted yourself. There were moments when you felt overlooked. Moments when you gave your best and still felt unseen. Moments when you asked yourself why recognition seemed to reach others more easily while you remained in the background. What you did not realize then was that obscurity was protecting you. While attention tests character, preparation strengthens it. You were being shaped quietly so that when responsibility arrived, it would not overwhelm you. Stepping forward now requires a different kind of courage. Not the courage to fight or resist. Maturity. You may notice that your desires are changing. Things that once excited you may no longer hold the same power. This is not loss. This is alignment. When growth happens, priorities shift naturally. You are not losing interest in life, you are gaining focus. You are learning to value depth over distraction, meaning over noise, and peace over constant movement. This shift is necessary for what comes next. The crown does not come with perfection. It comes with responsibility. Responsibility to respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. Responsibility to choose wisdom even when impatience feels easier. Responsibility to walk away from what drains you instead of trying to fix everything. These are not burdens. They are freedoms disguised as choices. There was a time when you waited for permission to step into who you are becoming. You looked for signs outside yourself, hoping something or someone would confirm that it was okay to move forward. This message is not giving you permission. It is reminding you that you no longer need it. The readiness you were waiting for has already been formed through experience. You are entering a season where silence will speak louder than explanation. Where your consistency will say more than your words. Where your calm presence will influence more than argument ever could. This is the posture of someone who has grown beyond survival mode. Someone who understands that strength does not always announce itself. The crown prepared for you is not something you display. It is something you carry within. It shows itself through boundaries that protect your peace. Through choices that honor your time. Through confidence that does not need approval. Through humility that does not diminish your value. You are learning that leadership begins internally. If you feel emotional as you listen, allow it. Release is part of receiving. You cannot step forward while holding on to every version of yourself that existed to survive past seasons. Gratitude honors the past, but awareness releases it. You are allowed to grow without guilt. You are allowed to change without explanation. This moment is not loud because it does not need to be. True shifts happen quietly. They settle in the heart before they appear in life. What is ahead of you will unfold steadily, not suddenly. And that is a blessing. You will have time to adjust, to understand, and to remain grounded as change arrives. As you continue listening, remember this: you are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing anything meant for you. Everything aligning now required the person you have become. Not the person you were, not the person you tried to be, but the person you are right now. Step forward gently. Receive without fear. Walk with awareness. This crown was prepared not to elevate you above others, but to help you stand firmly within yourself. There comes a point in every journey where movement no longer feels forced, and effort no longer feels heavy. That point arrives quietly, without announcement, and most people miss it because they are still looking for struggle to justify progress. But you are beginning to recognize something different. You are noticing that clarity is replacing confusion, that calm is entering spaces where worry once lived, and that decisions feel less complicated than they used to. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. You have carried responsibilities that were never meant to be permanent. You held emotional weight for others, tried to fix what was not yours to repair, and stayed longer than necessary because you believed loyalty meant endurance. What you are learning now is that wisdom does not demand self-sacrifice at the cost of peace. Wisdom teaches timing. Wisdom teaches when to release without resentment. Wisdom teaches when silence is more powerful than explanation. The crown prepared for you does not come from striving harder. It comes from knowing when to stop striving altogether. There is a deep difference between effort and alignment. Effort drains. Alignment sustains. And the reason you feel steadier now is because your life is slowly shifting from one to the other. You are no longer pushing doors that were never meant to open. You are recognizing the doors that move easily when approached with awareness. You may notice that your reactions are changing. Situations that once triggered emotional storms now feel manageable. Not because they matter less, but because you matter more. You are beginning to value your inner state above external outcomes. This is the mark of growth that cannot be taught, only lived. It comes from experience, reflection, and learning to listen inwardly before responding outwardly. Stepping forward into what has been prepared for you does not require abandoning who you were. It requires integrating what you learned. Every disappointment sharpened discernment. Every delay strengthened patience. Every moment of silence taught you how to hear yourself. Nothing was wasted. Even the seasons that felt empty were shaping your capacity to hold what comes next. You are also becoming aware that not everyone will understand this version of you. Some will notice your calm and call it distance. Some will notice your boundaries and call it change. But growth often feels unfamiliar to those who benefited from your previous self. This is not a reason to retreat. This is a confirmation that you are no longer living on autopilot. The crown you are being invited to receive symbolizes responsibility over your choices, your energy, and your direction. It does not demand perfection. It asks for honesty. Honesty about what nourishes you and what drains you. Honesty about where you belong and where you are only tolerated. Honesty about when to act and when to wait. You are learning that rest is not laziness. Rest is recalibration. Pauses are not delays. Pauses are preparation. Stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is awareness. The more you allow yourself these moments, the clearer your next steps become. Not fulfillment. What remains is more authentic, more grounded, and more capable of sustaining joy. This is the season where your presence becomes your power. Where you do not need to convince, chase, or explain. Where your consistency speaks louder than urgency ever could. Where your calm becomes contagious. This is leadership in its purest form, not dominance, but stability. As you continue forward, remember that the crown is not something you wait for externally. It is something you step into internally. Each mindful choice strengthens it. Each boundary protects it. Each moment of self-respect reinforces it. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you were meant to be before doubt interrupted clarity. There is a quiet confidence that begins to rise when you finally understand that you are no longer waiting for permission. You are no longer standing at the edge of possibility, wondering whether you deserve to move forward. Something inside you has already shifted. You may not be able to explain it clearly, but you can feel it. A calm certainty is forming, not loud, not rushed, but steady and grounded. This is the moment when preparation turns into readiness. For a long time, you believed that growth would feel dramatic, that change would announce itself with intensity. But real transformation arrives gently. It settles into your daily thoughts. It changes the way you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. It alters how you respond instead of react. And most importantly, it teaches you that you are not behind. You were never late. You were becoming. You have reached a stage where awareness is stronger than impulse. Where reflection matters more than validation. Where inner peace feels more valuable than external approval. This did not happen overnight. It happened through lessons you did not ask for but needed. It happened through moments of silence that forced you to listen inwardly. It happened through disappointment that redirected you instead of defeating you. The crown prepared for you represents clarity of identity. It represents knowing who you are without needing constant reassurance. It represents standing firmly in your values even when others misunderstand you. This is not about status, recognition, or comparison. This is about alignment. Alignment between what you believe, how you live, and what you allow. You may notice that you no longer chase outcomes the way you once did. You trust timing more. You trust your instincts more. You trust that what is meant for you will arrive without pressure. This trust is not passive. It is rooted in self-awareness. You know what drains you now. You know what energizes you. And you are learning to choose accordingly. As you step forward, you may feel moments of doubt surface. This is natural. Doubt does not mean you are moving in the wrong direction. It simply means you are stepping beyond familiar patterns. Growth always feels unfamiliar before it feels comfortable. Do not rush to silence doubt. Observe it. Let it pass. It has less power over you than it once did. There is also a deep sense of responsibility forming within you. Responsibility for your energy. Responsibility for your boundaries. Responsibility for your direction. You are realizing that not everything deserves your attention, and not everyone deserves access to your inner world. This is not isolation. This is discernment. This is wisdom earned through experience. The more you honor this inner clarity, the light our life begins to feel. Situations that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. Decisions that once caused anxiety now feel intuitive. You are not trying to control everything anymore. You are learning to cooperate with life rather than resist it. This is the season where your presence speaks louder than explanation. Where consistency matters more than intensity. Where your calm becomes a signal of strength. Others may not understand your stillness. They may mistake it for hesitation. But you know better. You know that stillness is where clarity lives. The crown you are stepping into also asks you to release old narratives. Narratives that told you to shrink yourself to be accepted. Narratives that told you to endure discomfort to prove loyalty. Narratives that told you your worth depended on how much you gave away. These stories no longer serve you. You are allowed to rewrite them. You are learning that saying no does not make you selfish. It makes you honest. You are learning that rest does not make you weak. It makes you sustainable. You are learning that walking away from what drains you is not failure. It is self-respect. As you continue forward, remember this: clarity does not always bring immediate comfort, but it always brings peace. You may still face challenges. You may still feel uncertainty at times. But you are no longer lost within them. You are grounded. You are aware. You are present. This is what it means to receive what has been prepared for you. Not by force. Not by fear. But by readiness. By awareness. By trust. By choosing alignment over urgency. You do not need to rush this moment. Let it settle. Let it integrate. Let it guide you gently into what comes next. If this message resonated with you even a little, stay with it till the end and take a quiet moment to reflect. You don't need to rush or react, just remain present and allow clarity to settle within you. If you feel guided, continue watching and let this message unfold naturally for you. Sometimes, the answers you are seeking come when you simply choose to listen.